What is up, guys? My name is Nicholas Garcelle. Welcome back to another video. Toronto Maple Leafs lose to the Tampa Bay Lightning 2-1. Final in Toronto, Game 7. And they are now officially eliminated from the 2022 Stanley Cup playoffs. It was tough. It was tough last night, but I was proud. I'm proud of these boys. I'm proud of the effort they put into that game. I'm proud of the battle. Definitely put their balls on the line for that one, as Matthew quoted just a couple days ago. They played with a lot of effort in this game, and they had it. They had it. They had the hunger. They had the offense, the defense, the goaltending. Jack Campbell was phenomenal, and they just couldn't win. Like, it just didn't happen. And, you know, not always having the best team means you're just gonna win. Sometimes you win some, you lose some. In the Maple Leafs case, they lose all of them. And this is the first time, actually, that I've witnessed the Maple Leafs, like, have a really good team, but just not come out with the result. And I could definitely see in Game 6 it was our opportunity to win. It was pretty frustrating this morning, waking up and actually not seeing the Maple Leafs going to the next round once again, back in the same spot. But you know what? There's a lot of promise for this team, and I haven't been able to say that in a long time. I do see the end of the tunnel. I can see the end of the tunnel now, and that's something I couldn't see before. A couple years ago, last year, I couldn't see the Maple Leafs winning an actual series, and it was just the belief in my head that they could win a series. But now I can see it. In Game 6, the third period, I could see the Maple Leafs going up to Tampa Bay Lightning and shaking hands and moving on to play the Florida Panthers. I could see it. But they just couldn't get it at the end of the day. And I do think next year they will be shaking hands winning a series. I guarantee you they will win a series next year. And that's something I haven't been able to say for a long time. And this is nothing I've ever believed before. So, without further ado, let's get into this video. I'm going to break down a couple things in cap friendly. Just kind of get people prepared for next season and break it down pretty slowly, because I know most of you are probably already clicking off this video saying, I don't want to talk about next year already, but kind of have to. There's a lot to be done this season, and in my opinion, the most important thing for the Maple Leafs this next season is to get everyone on the team back. Last year, whole different story. I didn't know where to go. Nobody knew where to go. Dangle didn't know where to go. All these analysts had no idea what the Leafs were going to do. And Kyle Dubas figured it out. He got Michael Bunting. He brought in Ondrej Kase. He signed Peter Mrazek. He got a little bit of grit on the bottom pairs. Kyle Clifford came back. Wayne Simmons stayed. Jason Spezza stayed. You know, you got Colin Blackwell that came in the trade deadline. Eli Labushkin, who was the best trade pickup for the Maple Leafs at the deadline, and he's been freaking phenomenal. And I can't wait until he comes back for Toronto this offseason. I'm really optimistic about what Labushkin can do with Morgan Rielly on a new contract. That's going to be really exciting. So there's a lot of exciting stuff for the Maple Leafs. If they can get Pierre Engvalt back, if they can get Eli Mikheyev back, Mark Giordano, this team is going to win a series next year, ladies and gentlemen. So as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, Cap Friendly says we have $91,000 in the bank in cap space and $2.353, $132 in LTIR use. Now, as it says right down here, General Manager Kyle Dubas and Head Coach Sheldon Keefe. In my opinion, Leafs Nation, you don't get rid of anyone besides maybe Sheldon Keefe. And here's why. Sheldon Keefe is an unbelievable coach. He's come in for the team. He's done his job. He's been unreal for this team. He's got them in places where they need to be. And to be honest, they were in the fight this series. He never had them out of the fight. He never did anything silly like Mike Babcock did and bench players for not doing well and stuff like that. He had them in the fight. He's a fantastic coach, and he knows how to coach this team. The only reason I would get rid of him is if you want to get a little bit of a fresh face in the organization. Maybe someone like a Barry Trotz, who just recently was taken away from the New York Islanders, or fired from the New York Islanders, or released whatever you want to call it. He's no longer a part of the Islanders organization, and I wouldn't mind seeing Barry Trotz on the team. You know, he's a Stanley Cup champion coach, so why not, right? He's brought the Islanders very far as well, so he knows how to bring teams far in playoff series. So he would be a good addition to the team as well. Maybe even assistant coach. Maybe Sheldon Keefe drops down to the assistant coach and Barry Trotz is our head. Wouldn't that be amazing? General manager Kyle Dubas will stay. I don't think it's over for Kyle Dubas. I think if in 2 years, let's say, or next year maybe, if it really goes downhill, then Dubas will lose his job. But as soon as Kyle Dubas gets fired, ladies and gentlemen, I think that's when it really goes downhill. I think one of the core four is going to get traded, and then you'll have some big pieces moved around. That'll be a whole shuffle. And I don't think this team is there. I don't think that's a necessity for this team to do that. I know everyone's frustrated, but we got to stay focused and just get back on the ice, on the training grounds, and learn from what we played against Tampa Bay. And I know this team has learned. We can't keep switching up the roster because that loses that kind of chemistry and bond the team will have. So as you can see on Cap Friendly, it's quite a few faces that need to get signed. Eli Mikheyev is one of them. Ondrej Kase, Pierre Engvalt, list to name, and I actually got them popped up for you here in a Word document. Oh, well, my bad. I got them popped up here for you in a Word document. So let's take a look at that, actually. UFAs this season: Eli Mikheyev, Jason Spezza, Colin Blackwell, Brett Cini. On defense, Mark Giordano, Eli Labushkin, and the goaltenders, Jack Campbell, Michael Hutchinson, and Carter Hutton. RFAs include Ondrej Kase, Pierre Engvalt, defenseman Rasmus Sandeen and Timothy Liljegren, and Christian Rubens, and goaltender Ian Scott. So, this is our current cap space. Right down here. Oh, I didn't want to do that. $17,841,050. Just want to make sure I'm not covering that. There we go. $17,841,050 million in cap space. Now, how, you may ask? Well, that's all the players they just listed right down here. Maybe minus a couple. And that all is because Phil Kessel came off the books. Kyle Clifford's pay, if you didn't know, he got extended to a 2-year deal at $700,000. So he gets a $300,000 decrease for the next 2 seasons, which will take a little bit off and justify just a tad. And then Morgan Rielly gets a $2.5 million pay increase for the next 8 seasons. So yeah, it was it's going to be a long process for Morgan Rielly. He's going to stay here for a long time and win cups with us. Let's go. So the cap space is looking a little bit shaky, especially looking at all the players we do have to sign. Now, how will that be solved? Well, I have my solution right here, ladies and gentlemen. It is solved by trading Peter Mrazek. Now, Peter Mrazek, I'm going to block that because I don't want anyone to see that. It'll be solved by trading Peter Mrazek. Peter Mrazek is a guy who has just not been able to get out of injuries this season. He's not really needed in Toronto, and if the Maple Leafs can sign Jack Campbell, I don't see why the Maple Leafs can't go get a guy like Alexander Georgiev, just someone, because really, when we signed Peter Mrazek, we weren't sure how Jack Campbell was going to perform. Jack Campbell has proven that he can be a starter day in, day out. He can be that guy for the Toronto Maple Leafs, and that's something we were not sure of when we started him this season. That's why Peter Mrazek came. We now know that we no longer need Peter Mrazek's services. It's been about 80% of Jack Campbell's work, and I'd say about 5% Peter Mrazek, 10% in there for Shalgren and Woll and whatever goaltender has surfaced the Toronto Maple Leafs net mine. But yeah, I think Peter Mrazek should be traded. Half of his salary should come off the books. If you got to use a pick to get rid of it, I would do it. Not a first-round pick, of course, but hey, if Peter Mrazek comes off the books, I think that is huge for the Toronto Maple Leafs, even if it's half. Trading Justin Hall. I know Justin Hall made that egghead play in front of the net, in front of the Tampa Bay net, and costed the Maple Leafs the series, possibly. We don't really know that for sure. But I just don't think he's needed in Toronto anymore. With Liljegren coming up, with Rasmus Sandeen coming up, with Topi Niemela just recently getting signed to the Maple Leafs, you got so much depth coming up in the Maple Leafs defense, it is going to be a whirlwind of trouble for any team that tries to test us defensively in the future to come. So I really liked Mark Giordano and Timothy Liljegren this season. I think Giordano can make Timothy Liljegren the defender the Maple Leafs have always wanted to have. And that's exactly another reason why I want to keep Mark Giordano. I'll touch on that in a little bit. Letting go Ondrej Kase. Bye-bye Injuryville from Ondrej Kase. The man just can't stay healthy. And it's frustrating. He's such a fantastic player for $1.25 million. But he just can't stay healthy, and he can't be trusted for that. So for those reasons only, we'll probably let go of Kase. Carter Hutton will probably leave. He didn't really do much for the Maple Leafs. Spent most of the time on the LTIR, so not really much of an issue. So these are all the numbers. So 1.9 million, 2 million, 1.25 million, and 750,000 will free up 5 million and 900,000, which will leave the Toronto Maple Leafs, if this all happens, with 23,741,50,000 left in the tank. So that's very important. And it's very important for the reasons that we need a lot of players we have to sign. I'm just going to highlight a couple players that I think should be signed, and I'll be back in like 5 seconds. Oh, wait. Pretty much all the players are going to be re-signed. Look, it's going to be tough. It is going to be very difficult for Kyle Dubas to get this done. And I know you're looking at all the highlights and you're like, holy cow, Nick. Like, you want to sign the whole team? Yes. The whole team back. I don't want to see any changes come September, because this is a team that is going to not only win us a playoff series, but potentially win us a Stanley Cup. It is the hard battles fought in the playoffs that teach the team how to win the next series the next year. That's exactly what the Leafs have now. They've never had that before in their careers. And something that Marner and Matthews and Nylander and Tavares had yet to face is them putting all their heart on the line and losing. That is heartbreak. That is true heartbreak. Putting everything that you have, your balls on the line rather, and you still lose. That's true heartbreak for a team. They were actually broken. You could see the actual emotion in the entire team. And that's exactly what the Leafs need. That's why they should sign every player back, majority, that is going to be on this team. Maybe they may pick up 1 or 2 players here and there to justify for the guys lost, but I really don't think they need to. Now, when it comes to money, I think there's a couple guys that are probably going to take a little bit less. Mark Giordano will probably take something, let's say along the lines of $3.5 million. Okay, that's probably what's going to be for Mark Giordano. When it comes to, let's say, Eli Labushkin. Now, Labushkin hasn't made that much money. I would say he's probably going to take a nice contract. He's a nice guy. Not the reason why he's going to take less money, but I just think he'll probably take something in the margins of $1.4 million. That's probably what I have for Eli Labushkin right now. And then Jack Campbell. Let's go back to him because he's going to be our money man. Colin Blackwell, I can see him taking the same deal he had already. Jason Spezza, you know, these guys are vets. These guys will take the money they were handed before. And I really think if we go back to actually the cap friendly here, you'll see guys like Jason Spezza and Colin Blackwell. Like Colin Blackwell took a $725. That's even lower than the actual allowed cap. So yeah, it's kind of crazy that he was doing that for the Maple Leafs. But yeah, I think Blackwell $750. Jason Spezza, $750, right back where they were. Brett Seney, if you want to re-sign him, you can. $750. I think he'll take $750 all day. And Labushkin, look at that. He's only going to take a $50,000 increase. I think that's more than fair for Eli Labushkin, even though he was a monster defender. So here's Ilya Mikheyev and Pierre Engvalt's situation. I think Pierre Engvalt and Eli Mikheyev are going to be exactly like Kasper Kapanen and Andre Johnson. That situation is going to be exactly what happens for the Toronto Maple Leafs team. specifically because they are both those type of caliber players. Kapanen, I guess you could say Pierre Engvalt and Mikheyev are the complete opposites of Janssen and Kapanen in the fact that they're both more grit and they can still score and pass and do all the things they need to do to be complete players. But in the sense, they are more complete players, so they're probably going to get more money. In that respect, I think Pierre Engvalt is a very respectful player. I think he will probably take 2.5, but I'm going to put him at 3 million. I think Pierre Engvalt has been waiting a long time to get a pay, and I just think he's going to get that pay from the Toronto Maple Leafs. He's a very, very good player. He's a guy that can play on the third line or second line next season, Eli Mikheyev included. Man, I'd give these guys both 3 million. But I know Eli Mikheyev is probably going to want a little bit more, so I'll stick him at oh my god, 3 to 5, let's say. I just think he's going to want a little bit more money than Pierre Engvalt, Eli Mikheyev, and that's probably what he's going to justify for. So, already looking at these numbers, you're probably already being like, holy cow, Nick, you're running out of room. Yeah, we are. Then you got Rasmus Sandeen and Timothy Liljegren. I'll leave Jack Campbell for last. Rasmus Sandeen will probably take just a tad less. I don't think they're going to take big contracts. In my opinion, Rasmus Sandeen will probably not. I think we can settle for Rasmus Sandeen probably for like just 1 million. Seriously. I don't see Rasmus Sandeen as a greedy player. And these guys are still really young. They got a lot of time left in their careers. And Timothy Liljegren, he's going to take 1 million as well. Like, these guys are not going to be greedy players like we think they are. They're both very respectful young players. They got lots of time left in their career. I mean, just look at the numbers here. You got, oh my goodness, I forgot I'm on Cap Friendly. Sorry, guys. I've been doing all the numbers here. But yeah, let's just go back to Cap Friendly for a second, which we were already on, by the way. Right down here, you got Rasmus Sandeen both at 894, 863 for Timothy Liljegren, just a little bit less than Sandin. These guys are 22 and 23 years old, all right? So they're young guys. They have lots of time to make money in their career, and I could see them both taking 2-year deals at 1 million apiece. Really, that's what I think it's going to come down to. So back to the numbers. Then we got Pierre Engvalt already signed, Rasmus Sandeen signed, Timothy Liljegren signed, Eli Labushkin, Mark Giordano signed for 3.5 for 1 year. Jason Spezza 1 year, Colin Blackwell 1 year, Eli Mikheyev, that'll probably be a 3-year deal or something like that. And then Michael Hutchinson easily will take the 750. So right now, I'll come back and I'll tell you how much money we have right now for Jack Campbell. All right, so we have $23,741,050 to sign all of our players for the Toronto Maple Leafs. All right, and then afterwards, signing all those players for the money we did, and again, that may change. We may justify a little bit more money for, let's say, Timothy Liljegren, who's going to be a pain in the ass, or maybe Eli Mikheyev or Pierre Engvalt. But after all those signings, we have $16,900,000 used, which means for Jack Campbell, as of right now, and all this numbers crunched, $6.84150 for Jack Campbell. What's $500? But that's a lot. That's a lot for Jack Campbell. And here's the thing, too. For Jack Campbell, I'm going to lay a little number down. And this is what I think Jack Campbell is going to take for the Toronto Maple Leafs. $2.4 million for 2 years. I know Jack Campbell's at the pay grade of his career. And I know the type of caliber player he is. But this man is just something special. This is a goalie I have never seen in the National Hockey League. The type of goalie, the type of loyalty, the just happiness from this man. I've never seen that from a goalie. Ever. Maybe some European goalie that was just, I don't even know. Like, there's just never been a guy that has been so happy to be a Toronto Maple Leaf in a very, very long time. And this guy is willing to take less money to get the Maple Leafs that cup. I know he will, and I know he knows that he will. So I'm going to leave $2.4 million for Jack Campbell. That could be bumped up to $3 million, whatever. That still leaves us about $3 million for the Maple Leafs to justify any of the players that they need to re-sign. So if that all comes into fruition, if let's say we get a player back from that, or a player or a goaltender back from one of the Mrazek deals, then we sign that goalie or whatever. But that still gives a little bit of wiggle room for the Toronto Maple Leafs to make some moves in the offseason. So Leafs fans, don't worry, okay? Don't worry about the money. Kyle Dubas will figure it out. He always does. He always figures it out, and he always makes some way for the Maple Leafs to make it happen. Well, I hope that could get your guys' hopes up, because I know it sure did get my hopes up. Look, I really do think this is going to happen. I think something similar to this will happen for the Toronto Maple Leafs. I do think that especially Jack Campbell will be a little bit less money than we all think he's going to get. I know he deserves $4, $5, maybe $6 million, but I don't think he's that type of netminder who is going to take that amount of money. He's just a very respectable goaltender, and I think he's going to take the money that he wants for the team to win a championship, then get his pay raise. But, ladies and gentlemen, that is all I'll say for today. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more of these videos, and please make sure to turn on your post notifications to get notified when these videos do come out. One more thing, please make sure to share this video with your friends and family. Helps me a lot, and I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching. It's been a terrific Maple Leafs season. Comes to an end, and now we get to look forward to next year and what the Maple Leafs can do in another first round of the playoffs. But until then, I will see you guys in the next one. Take it easy, guys.